Wholeness, beautiful beings. Wholeness, human collective. Welcome to Notes of Nara. My name is Nadja Rashida, and I just felt like it was time to make some changes. I mentioned that in my last video last week. As you can see, I'll be making these sessions about twice a month where I'm just going to walk among the trees. So it'll be tree walks. That's what I'm going to call these. Walking among the trees. As a way to remind ourselves to be grounded, be centered, and integrated among the movement of life, among the currents of life, among the tides of life. That's what's taking place, as we can see and what we can feel. So, human collective, so beautiful and grounding. It's a weird combination of oh, there's a bee around me somewhere. Weird combination of hearing birds, the singing birds and dogs barking in the background, beautiful tree seeds floating among and around me, and then I'm holding this digital device. But I wanted to share a few things with you guys with the direction of my channel and my intention with my channel. But before we get into all that good stuff, I want to make something abundantly clear. Yes, I am a spiritualist. Yes, I study the esoterica and the occultic practices of what they and how they use those practices to manipulate us as the collective. If you want to protect yourself and strengthen yourself against evil, and you want to operate more of a higher frequency in the space of love and clarity, you have to know how you're being entrapped. You have to study how and what methods are used against you. So I've come to the conclusion that in order, due to my desire to become more unified with wholeness and with oneness and with presence, it's good to study these things that have been demonized to keep us ignorant and stuck. So, that being said, I am not your guru. I am not your witch. I am not your priestess. I am not your shaman. I have been called all things. All those things that I have listed, I have been called. Hello. Light worker. Never been called a shadow worker, but you get my drift. I'm not one for the turning in or embracing the external titles that people give. I allow people to call me whatever they desire, but most importantly is that I know who I am, just as you should know who you are. So with that, if anything, I'm a guide. I feel like I have been guided, and I've been a guide to others all my life. I've been guided through some very wicked, dark seasons and cycles in my life, and I have helped guide others through their deep and dark cycles and seasons on their path. And so, in jest, there is a certain level of seriousness that I take and responsibility of this role as a guide. I mean, it's in my name, Ya Rashid. one of the 99 names of Allah, Yad Rashid, guided on the righteous path, the guided one, the teacher. And given looking at the cycles and seasons, studying my own patterns when it comes to relationships, when it comes to the types of relationships I've had with people, types of occupations I've been, naturally had this magnetism towards, it just all makes sense. Truly to, due to the current transitions that I've shared with you guys last week about my career choice, right? And how pretty much they've just dumped, not me, but a whole team of people due to their own corruption and their own, just the systems are going bad. But I just wanted to make that very clear to you and to all that, I am not a savior of any kind. And my energy readings that I'm going to upload is just, think of an arrow, okay? Think of you're walking along or you come across a crossroad and you need to go left or right or turn back around or move forward or stay in place. These are just signposts for you, a reminder for you as a collective. That is all. With that, I really wanted to add this. Spirituality is becoming digitized. Everything that makes us human is becoming digitized. This is the phenomenon that we can't escape. You might be one of those commenters or one of my subscribers that, you don't put your picture of yourself up, right? You don't have your little icon. You don't have an image. You rarely ever comment or on people's uploads, but you watch a lot, you consume a lot, or maybe hardly ever. That's rare, but most people are consuming way more than they're creating. Every keystroke, every time you log on, every time you are using a device that has a digital camera built within it, you're part of it. It's downloading everything that you can think of. You're being watched, we're being surveillanced all the time. So I've come to the conclusion, which I'll discuss a little bit further in this video with you all. We have two options. We can choose to create, which will be in either, I'll say this, either path that we take will be supported by the universe, will be supported by source. Negative or positive, because there is no negative or positive. They're just energy matches energy. That is it. That is all. And, in a dualistic realm such as Earth, modern day society, polarity is a really big thing. So we will have two paths as a collective to choose. Okay? We can create, which will induce the frequency of heaven, or we can destroy, which will match us to the frequency and vibration of hell. All right? That's it. Not rocket science. We make it very complex. We make it incredibly complex. So I choose, given what's happening to spirituality in the digital realm, or what's happening to the spirit, how they're blending in and taking all of our philosophy, spiritual concepts, practices, and they're digitizing that, mixing it in with psychology. I mean, if you listen to the ads, they're getting more and more and more personal. There's a jingle which had this weird clay animation of a woman singing a song about procrastination. I don't have ad block on my device. I'm not going to pay extra money. I'm not. So I use it as a form of study on how we're being studied. And it literally is like this jingle that goes really deep. Like, oh, you are procrastinating because of your failure. It's like, whoa, I can't, it got into directly into the issue, right? And it's artificial intelligence. The jingle, I don't even think is probably human, because now you can use voice correction, say one thing, a man can say something, a phrase or a verse of a song, and then put it through a software program that makes it sound feminine and melodic. Put a little music, a couple of tracks on it, there you go, you have a commercial, and that they're selling you product. And it was a product, it was medication, another psych med to help you become focused and energized and motivated to go out there and be somebody. That's what's happening. So I am choosing to use this platform not to criticize or analyze, but to just create and to share. And if anything, you don't fight fire with fire. What do you do to put out the fire? Water, emotion, energy and motion. You use energy and motion to manipulate, to alchemize. So the best way to, I guess, combat, if you will, is to create, because the frequency of creativity is powerful. All right? Prince actually said, there's a quote, I believe, the musician, Prince, the artist formerly known as Prince. I believe he said a quote that either there's two things in life, either you are creating or you are destroying. And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm in this space right now to just really embody and open up the channel of creativity within myself. So I'm a musician, I'm an artist, I'm a spiritualist. I don't know exactly where these gifts will take me, or what other gifts these gifts will unlock inside me, but I am reawakening my faith within myself. That is for sure. So I did jot down some notes, so don't mind me as we're walking together. Yes. So for the energy readings, I will be using 3 methods. So I have the tree medicine. Those of you who've been here the longest, I used to go by the name of Rashida Silver Tree. I no longer use Silver Tree because that became a copyright issue. I guess there's another musician or sound healer that used Silver Tree, so I was not able to, because I didn't have an LLC or anything. They wanted me to cough up an additional $3,000 to $5,000. I could have gotten scammed, but I didn't pay for it or anything. I did in the past when my first pitch of a business idea. But I just, going back a little bit to, names, or call me by your name, I will say this. There's power and gifts and medicine in the name that you've been given. Look into that. And when I say call me by your name, what did I mean by that? I truly meant, I'm just kind of circling back a little bit and then I'll continue. I truly meant that I am you, you are me. We are one. If you can call me by your name, then you can see yourself in me. If I can call you by my name, I can see myself in you. I know there's a film by that name. It's a love story film between 2 gentlemen. One is young and the other is old, a little bit older. But I just love the power of that in the title, the name, given the not really connected to the context. Ooh, these mosquitoes are out. But you know what? That's the that's the exchange, right? What else? How else? What else should I speak on? Yes, so the energy reading. So tree medicine. So yes, I used to go by Silver Tree. We coined the term, silver tree seeds, all that good stuff. But I've decided to just stick with Naja Rashida. It's a beautiful gift my mother gave me. Means successfully guided on the righteous path, protected, and among other things, many different definitions. But I shortened Naja Rashida to Nara because Nara is an actual tree that I believe grows in the Philippines and different parts of Asia. It has a very reddish color to it. But I'm all about tree medicine. So I will be using symbols and sigils that I have carved and cut and developed and designed over the past. I think this came back to me. These symbols came to me in 2018 or 2019. So I've had them for quite a while. I cut the bark of it's a choca tree when I was farming on a vegetable farm. Came across the choca berry tree and beautiful aroma of flowers, much smaller body of, when it comes to the tree size. And we were having to cut some of it down, and I was guided to take it and cut little pieces of wood, and that's what I did. So I'll be sharing the symbols and sigils with you. These are just directly from source, from consciousness, from, channeled through my being. And I have some of my old readings up, so if you're curious as to what that looks like, the setup will be similar, a little bit different, but similar. And next, animal medicines. So, I guess over time I'll get into that and another tree walk. But animal medicines they're pretty much images of drawings of animals that I've done over the past 2.5 years, that I'm creating my own little oracle card deck. It will be one of a kind. So, but I do have other art projects I'm working on as well. For those of you who are curious as to what I'm going to do with all that art hanging up in my room or in my home right now, there are ideas. But the animal medicines they're done. They're done. The deck is done. So I'm working on finishing up the design for that. But I will be sharing those medicines with you as well. Let's see. Let me check my list. So don't mind me moving my hand from side to side. Mosquitoes are out to feast. That's okay. It's just part of natural cycle of life, really. I'm just happy it's warm enough finally. May, I was like, oh my God, is summer ever going to be here? It was in the 40s and 50s. Okay. So nature walk and talks. So on the drive here to this talk, I was going to, something came to me like, I shouldn't just call it a nature walk. How about just a tree walk? And call them tree walks just as a reminder, that I need to remain centered and grounded and integrated through the flow, right? And so with this, it'll just be stream of consciousness and, free flow. And yeah, I'll have a topic in mind, or I'll meditate, make sure that I'm coming in with, clarity, and we'll just talk. I think there'll be less emphasis on my personal opinion on things and more so of just allowing things to flow. Because here's the thing about sharing your personal opinions and viewpoints. There's something very human and natural to that. However, my intention with this channel, with this portal, is to just remain more of part of the collective and less of personal. Okay, that's what I have a journal for. That's what you go to therapy for. That's why you have friends and family. All right. And I really do admire, though, the content creators and, individuals that can really go deep, go dark, be true about their story times and their life experiences. But there's just some things I just rather not dive into too much. I know last week I was a bit in my feelings. I still am. Oof, man, they're getting me. Whew, it's all right. But that's, these tree walks are going to be twice a month. Okay. Twice a month, the Saturdays before the new moon and full moon portals open. This Saturday will be an exception because this is literally a channel update. So I just wanted to make it official and have some level of consistency. Let's see, let me check my notes here. Oh yeah, so the real reason why I wanted to upload less is because I have other interests. I have my musical interests, and my music YouTube channel listed Naja Rashida Music. Very small. It's got under 100 subscribers. This is just, that channel's full of experimental music, sound healing, me learning how to edit, sound engineer, and produce on my own without the state-of-the-art software, all that good stuff. So over time, I will have, most of my finances will go more into the quality of my production. So I will, definitely keep you guys in the know for that. But as far as uploading my music, I literally will be uploading once a week, just once a week. And it'll be like a video that's looped a few times over. If you want to use it for meditation, you can. If not, that's your choice. No biggie. And that's about it. As far as also regarding, quantity over quality, or quality over quantity, I just believe that I want to be taken seriously. Number one. Number two, I don't know, it's something about knowing how to, becoming a master at my creativity. Like, it's something has to be said to the amount of creativity in the past, I would say 10-15 years with the internet, but also with YouTube and Instagram, and not being so anti digital age. And the past couple years I've been really struggling with that, because as an artist, people are getting their stuff yanked all the time, meaning plagiarized. There's plagiarism, there's copycats, there's all kinds of stuff. But my thing is, if you truly really focus in on your craft and your mastery and the joy of what you do, there's going to be thousands of people who sound like you, but they will never be you. And so you have to kind of keep that in perspective. But I'm not just about uploading crap, low quality. I want to test myself. I want to see what I'm made of. And given that this opening with grad school and all that kind of falling apart as it is, this is an opportunity, not a block. So I am ready to explore what that entails. Let's see here. Yeah, so scheduling for the energy readings there will be posts on the day of Mercury. If you study esoterica and occultism, then you will know that the days of the week are named after the planets. Okay, 7 planets. They used to be gods. They were worshipped as gods, right? So Sunday is the day of the sun. Monday is the day of the moon. Tuesday is the day of Mars. Wednesday is the day of Mercury. Thursday is the day of Jupiter. Friday is the day of Venus, the goddess, Aphrodite. Saturday is the day of Saturn. Okay. Now, Mercury is god of communication, air, the element of air. Why not? Most fitting. Middle of the day or middle of the week. I'm so sensitive. I can feel the energies of the days of the week. All right. That's not me tooting my own horn or anything like that. It's just when you tune into the frequency and vibration of yourself, you're able to tune in with what's around you. And so that's that. that is that. So now as far as my nature talks go, again, they'll be twice a month, just to give myself a break and to not be so lost in the digital game, and because it's all a game. It's all a game. You just have to know how to play it. So study your energy. Right. So this is a service for the human collective. I think one of the biggest lessons that I finally have learned is I have been serving from the wrong space in the wrong place for the past, I'd say, 12 years of my life. I'm a creative naturally. And about 12 or 13 years ago, I became obsessed of being of service for humanity. Everything was confirming at the time, like, oh, I need to do something that will heal the planet, heal people. I need to, heal my ancestors, heal this, heal that, heal that. It was a lot of externalizing, a lot of fear of not being able to financially support myself, fear of being looked down, like I was being self-centered and selfish with my art, being a studying opera and the classical music. Yeah, I literally felt like I was less important to society because I could sing on stage and perform. Like society deems the arts as not as important. And that's just a story that I hooked myself into. It hooked into me, and I believe that. And so that's why my art took a back seat, put it on the back burner. And so for the past 12 years, I've just been like trying to suppress the sleeping serpent, if you will. Because to me, serpent energy is about powerful life force, creative life force energy. And now she's awake, and sometimes it takes endings. It takes being shaken up. It takes your foundation being broken a little bit for you to wake up. You will always receive signs from this, but I don't want to get off topic because I can talk. Yes, but I'm redefining the definition of what service is to me. What service is to, for me in my life. What role does it play? And for a long time, I thought, well, my art and my creativity could never be a form of service. No one's going to pay that. No one's going to support that. This doesn't fit the mold of the 9 to 5. This doesn't guarantee your health insurance, your benefits, your pension plan. And now I'm realizing, given what I've seen in the past, especially the past 5 years, with the pandemic and all, and the COVID, and shutting the whole world down, and cutting people off from their family and friends, and, enforcing people to do things that they just didn't want to do, or they had to do to keep other people safe. It was a rough time. But that time between 2020 and 2021 and a half, like about a year and a half, I felt the most free. I felt the most centered. While the whole world was reestablishing itself with this new reality that they were building, I felt more and more alive and in tune. And that's when my music, my creativity began to just take off. Excuse the train. I'm in a train town. Oh, a frog. Hi, little frog spirit. What medicine are you bringing in today? Nope, that's a toad. That's toad. Ah, beautiful. I remember the first time I ever came across a toad spirit, and it was before a blessing opened up, because I was again in the fork in the road, right? And I had to make some decisions. Oh, there it goes. And it, I was informed, no, you won't get warts, you can pick it up. So I picked it up. And I felt its little heartbeat, its pulse, and then I set him down. Yeah, it let me pick it up too. It wasn't afraid. Yep, it's blended into the space, into its environment now. That's so wonderful. I'm just gonna take a pause because I'm sweating. All right. Yeah, but I'm redefining service, and I'm allowing myself to explore where creativity will take me. I have these beautiful ideas. I have powerful, beautiful ideas, and that I haven't really allowed myself, because you tell yourself, oh, I need this much money. I need to meet this certain group of people. I need to live in this state. I need to live in that environment. I need, and it's a lot of externalization. But I'm learning to become internal and to activate the magnet that is within me. And I was on the right path. Don't get me wrong. I was in the most open, and I didn't have to externalize so much of myself when I became magnetic. I really didn't. It was quite very magical, very, very just true and centered. And men and women have this capability, but women specifically, when we turn on that magnetic power, that magnetism, it's like, it literally is something. And so I'm just very, now that I've gone through what I've gone through in the past 5 years, learned what I needed to learn moving forward, I'm just is that much clearer for me. Do I have all the funds that I need to do all my projects? No. Am I living exactly where I need to at this moment? No. Am I around the environment and certain persons that can help and assist and give their guidance? No. But I trust and believe when you begin to work on your internal world, the universe has no choice but to match what's already there within. So redefining my service, allowing my service, the natural organic service I have within my being, to be my guide now. And so, given through my animal medicines, my tree medicines, my sound medicines that I have in store for you all, I'm excited. Yeah, there's anxiety. There's some lower nature issues I have, for sure. It's not easy. It's not easy, but it must be done. Let me take a look at my notebook here. So, the main topic of this video, create or destroy. I'll say this again. I know, I'm going to reiterate this. What we create creates our heaven. And what we destroy creates our hell. I say our because we're all in this together. Okay. You can be a multi-billionaire and be completely void of soul or spirit. Okay. Or you can be a penniless and be very full and whole and complete. Or you can be a billionaire and be whole and complete. Or you can be, penniless and, be completely depraved and cut off spiritually. Everyone's been there. Everyone has been and played in those roles. And if you haven't, you might. So, yes. What are you creating? No, I'm not saying you have to go out and buy oil pastels and markers and a huge, 36-foot canvas. I'm not saying you have to buy a brand new guitar or get, a wall piano. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying, what are you creating as a creator? Because we're all co-creating. We're all beautiful, beautiful, excuse me, beautiful little mirrors of consciousness, of God consciousness. And we all have this ability within ourselves to create. So what are we creating? What are you destroying? We're all destroying things too. Here's the thing, and this is why I was mentioning earlier in this video to not label me as your guru, your witch, your healer, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're this, you're that. Look, I'm all those things and I'm none of those things. We all play roles. We all are participating in the game that's been built for us. And people are tired of the game. They're tired of playing Monopoly. Or think of like the game Sorry, right? It's like a game board that you can't, or a Monopoly that you keep going around and around, around the square. Square is a block. That's what, or the square could be symbolic for a book or a building stone. But if anything, the black cube, look it up. It's tied to Saturn. Okay? It's tied to Saturn. And in this realm, they've used the power and magic of Saturn and they've inverted it, meaning Satanism. Satan is the, the inverted pentagram, because when you have the upstanding pentagram, you have the human. But with all the 5 senses, right? But in Satanism, they worship the five senses that connects our nervous system to this reality. They are obsessed with sex, power, right? This weird dance of the darker corners of consciousness. So, that's what's happening. And so you have to say, okay, there's certain, and here's the thing, it's tricky because if anything in nature, usually when something is being destroyed, it is for the greater, I don't want to say greater good, but it's to create space, to create something new, to create more abundance. Think of a volcano, all right? A volcano erupts and then it melts everything, it destroys everything in its path, and then over millennia, there's a beautiful, abundant forest that feeds neighboring tribes and villages and feeds the animals and the beasts, and the insects. It's destruction and creativity are both needed. Could we have too much creativity? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think there's too much destruction. I think there's too much of it. This will probably have to be another talk sometime, because it's very interesting and how it ties into life, death, life cycle. Right? You have life, death, rebirth, life, death, rebirth, life, death, rebirth. So that's a very deep, deep talk another time. So again, as a spiritualist, I must reiterate, spirituality is simple. Spirituality is rituals of the spirit. Ritual is practice, something that you repeat, a habit that you repeat over and over and over again. Repetition is the first law of learning. It's foundational. So if you're practicing habits of the spirit, meditation, reading, studying, focusing on the body, the health of the body, womb, right? Your connection to nature, your connection to family, friends, your community. What are you're creating, working on your shadow self, working on your inner child, all this stuff. That is what spirituality is to me. Rituals of the spirit. Because I have to respect, as much as I feel cosmic, otherworldly, the name or the Welsh word hiraeth, meaning and there's not a word, a direct translation for English, but it means like you feel, it's a not limerence, but it's a longing for connection to a place you've never been, or to a person, or towards a person you never met. But, and in one of my soul videos I made, there's a playlist for that, when I was getting deep into the soul contracts written by, or sacred contracts written by Carolyn Myss. She went into how there's an African belief that there is the soul, spirit, body. Soul, spirit, vessel. Soul, spirit, reality of matter, of physicality. And to me, the spirit is a channel. We are conduits between worlds because we are non-physical beings. And we have an expiration date with our vessels, with our temples, with our bodies. And the more tuned in, it's not like you can figure out when your death date is, like your birth date. It's more of, the more spiritually tuned in you are, the more present you are. And the more present you are, the more death as we know it, death as we've been programmed to believe it is, becomes less. It becomes more of the illusion. We're programmed in our body, our nervous system's programmed, we're genetically, biologically programmed to believe in the very real reality of death. I spent a year working in a general hospital, so believe me, I know. It could be gnarly or it could be peaceful, but the exit out of this world is an exit nonetheless. But as a spiritual being a non-physical being, feeling stuck, feeling lost, lacking connection to the all, it could be traumatizing living here, existing here. As a child, I suffered a lot. I suffered quite a bit. I always felt out of, when I say suffer quite a bit, meaning my state of mind and how I perceived myself as a child, as a human being in a little child's body, was almost kind of disturbing to say the least. I felt like I was born in the wrong family. I felt just misplaced, but I felt like I was almost on a mission, and I didn't have the perception or self-awareness or the words, vocabulary to describe this feeling. It was like something dumped me here. I'm here for time, and then I won't be here anymore. And my life has consistently mirrored that back to me. So, okay, I feel like I'm guided to talk about near-death experiences. So yes, I have had near-death experience as a youngin', and that also I feel like was some sort of extra, I guess it activated something in me to perceive things a bit differently compared to the masses. So, because there are certain types of trauma that human beings experience. War, sexual abuse, some psychedelic use, and sometimes someone trying to actually take your life. And about 2 of those things I've mentioned have happened to me. And I feel like those things permanently change you. Changes your psyche. I believe it's actually scientifically proven. And so yeah, I'm really choosing to commit to who I am, what comes natural to me. I've been fighting it for a long time, but slowly but surely, 36 years I've been given breath to breathe through these lungs, and eyes, or an eye and a half, to see and observe the world, a mind to think and perceive and dream and analyze, and to create a womb, right? I'm not sure. Motherhood, I'm still child free. So, I adore children. And, in the mourning process of having to reevaluate my career decisions, I no longer believe in careers. I don't. I feel like it's beautiful. I feel like you have it a bit easier if you can come into life, know what you're wanting to do, pursue it, and then that's it. That's what you do for 30, 40, 50 years of your life. That's beautiful. Like, there's some ballet dancers, they can dance well into their 50s. Usually but I think if anything, like 40s, but it's like they grow up and that's all they do. A musician, they do their art, that's all they do. A doctor, I have a doctor friend, actually a really good friend from undergrad, and and she set out to become a doctor, a neurologist. That's all that she's done. That's all she studied. And I'm like, wow, what is it? Sometimes I wonder, like, man, what does it feel like to have that one career? That's all you do. You're not stressing out about anything else. You're just doing it. And for me, my path is a bit different. I have to be patient with myself. I have to develop my path. There's some of us who don't have a path that's laid out for us. And I'm not saying everybody has a path that's laid out. Let me be more specific. Because, for example, my doctor friend, she had to put in the effort. She had to make sacrifices. She had to, things just didn't come so easy for her, right? Like, if you think of a CEO of a company who came from nothing and they had to work and scratch their way out of poverty, because they didn't have a poverty mindset. They were just broke, but you know what I'm saying? And they had to carve their way out. They had to carve their own path. And that's, I feel like, what I am realizing. I finally am at this space to do so. I had one commenter say last week, I don't know if that comment's still there, but he said, you need to allow a man or a husband or get married to somebody who can create or to be pretty much, he said, a kept wife. Like, to become a kept wife. A kept wife is pretty much on the light, loving aspect of it, is where the wife can pursue her dreams and her attributes, and not have to stress about money, not have to stress about going 50-50 on the bill, and to allow that woman to bask in her true femininity and masculinity in a balanced way. Because I think this whole independent woman thing is a crock of crap. It's making a lot of women bitter, resentful, angry, unattractive, tyrants, anti-man. Like, I'm not anti-men. I'm not with that. Yes, I am alone and I am single. And then at the same time, I'm not like obsessed about finding my mystical, magical partner either. It's just this whole obsession with being independent. It's like women had to fight for their rights so much that they don't see that we're just the patriarchal version of what the masculine version of a woman in a patriarchal society. Right? That's what it is. We're operating like men. We work like men. We love like men now. We implement the same rules like men do. And that's not femininity. That's just operating in a system already in place that kept the true feminine imprisoned. Food for thought. So no, I don't call myself a feminist. No, because that's a played out game, and women are finally realizing it. There's nothing wrong with a woman wanting to stay at home and raise children and keep her home. You know what I'm saying? But she's got to have, I'm going to pause. She's got to have a male energy, and I'm specifically speaking on heterosexual people, so please don't come for me, okay? She's got to have that support. And where I'm at on that, on how I perceive that, ain't no guarantee. Life is full of ain't no guarantees, and I don't have the time to play that game. Like, men cannot guarantee safety. Men cannot guarantee deliverance and support. You know, I'm not trying to bring in Aubrey Marcus, whatever his name is, that dude that I didn't know of. That through the he's pretty much awake. He's a catalyst. He's awakening the spiritual community up for the betterment of all, and I'm here for it. But there's just, you can ask and have that partner like she does, like his wife. And he's a multimillionaire, and he treats her like shit publicly. And the probability of that type of reality is very high. So again, like, to the comment that left, the kept wife comment, I thought that was so funny. I'm like, only in my dreams. Truly, only in my dreams. No, I'm not trying to, you see that ingrained patriarchal feminism type shit that gets in your head? I'm an independent woman. Oh, I'll never have that. It's like, hello. Oh, she probably has her headphones on, because most people do now. Yeah, interesting stuff. So yeah, back to, so how does it tie into spirituality? Rituals of spirit. I kind of went off on a tangent there a little bit. Oh, I know one example to follow up on the, patriarchal feminism. It's no fun. I watched my mom do it all. My mother's like the first queen you ever meet in your life, or you don't meet her, which is unfortunate. But the first queen that you'll ever meet is your mom. Now, whether she is aware of her divinity, that's one thing, but queen regardless, because she carries a womb, right? She carries that essence. She did it all. And guess what? She married. Remarried. Beautiful man, wonderful man. Took care of us. Protected us. I mean, he protected us because he loved us. Good man. And he's since deceased now. Oh, did you catch that? He's deceased. It wasn't 5 years of their marriage, and he died. There was no guarantee, was it? So she had to pick up not one, not two, not three, but 4 of her children. She moved us literally outside the country on her own. She did everything. So then we moved back to the U.S. Like, there is no guarantee. And so when it comes to this whole rituals of spirit or spirituality, yes, I do keep in mind of the feminine, masculine energies. They're completely distorted in this. They are so distorted. What is true masculine and what is true feminine? And the true masculine and the true feminine collective, my dear human collective, oh, they're coming in by force. They're coming in by force. They coming in. We can't stop it. They're trying. We're trying to hold that door, and that it's just no. It's no longer by choice anymore. It's just because it's innate in us. It's something natural. It's part of our evolution. So in rituals of spirituality, it is very important to identify your own hang-ups with the feminine and hang-ups with the masculine. Men believe that masculinity is being the tough guy, the provider, the protector. But inverted, distorted masculinity, well, look at our world. Inverted, distorted femininity, well, look at our world. Look at our world. Look at it. How's it feel to you? We have to be honest. We have to be honest with ourselves. We have to be honest. So be mindful in meditation that, you pinpoint what your weaknesses are, what your wounds are in your feminine, what your wounds are in your masculine. Because I also have an injured masculinity too. And I have an injured femininity as well. And I also have a healed femininity and a healed, masculine. It's not all bad, not all good either. We have to be, non-attached in our spiritual work. And what else do I got here? Life update. I'm in a much better mental spot. I struggle, man. I struggle with forgiveness, bro. I struggle with it. Maybe that's the scorpionic energy in me. Probably. So I noticed it's a trait in my dad where it's really hard for him to let things go. But it's not that strong in me, but it's like when people show their ass, when systems show their ass, you have to honor that. Just respect it as it is. And know that it's just there to teach you. It's just there to expand you. It's just there to liberate you and set you free. And so, I don't want to get too much more into it. My dad, he actually had a visit with them. I think it was Sunday, and he was saying, like, because he knows I upload stuff online. He's just like, be careful, don't, he's a big talker, and I'm like, if anything, he needs a podcast. Jeez, he's a very interesting man. We bump heads because we don't agree on everything, and he's strong-minded, as I am. But he was like, you need to be mindful, of how you speak, in your current experiences. And I think that's true. And that's another thing why, talking about my personal life, nah, I don't know. It's not my thing. I don't think there's a need. My main focus is the human collective. Are all beings, having human experience, and, I don't think there's any shame of like announcing your marriage or announcing your a death in the family, or announcing a graduation, or announcing a new job, or announcing a new place you're going to travel to. There's nothing wrong with announcing your plans and your successes, but you have to be very intentional and methodical in how you do it, given the nature of the digital age, given the nature of human beings, because there's a clashing of the synthetic and organic world, and people can pose as you anytime they want, for whatever, to meet their own agendas. And that's dealing with occultic practices. That's another video I might make, another talk where I deal with the digital age and occultism. That's going to have to be a whole nother video. But as far as life update, I'm just creating space for the path that's unfolding for me right now. And I'll leave it at that. I'm still processing some negative emotions. You're dealing with if someone like deliberately sabotages you, and then they're very much aware of what's going on, but then they gatekeep the information to keep you so that they can fulfill their agenda, it doesn't feel very good. It makes you feel disconnected from the system that you thought would guarantee, right? Guarantee employment, guarantee a spot in society, right? Everyone respects nurses, everyone respects teachers. And these are two industries, two systems that they're draining the swamp. They are systematically, deliberately blocking people, which in turn, again, is destructive behavior. And I'm seeing it on a micro level. So on a global, national level, as well as a local level. So I'm now asking myself, well, damn, what's the personal level? What am I creating? What am I destroying? What's my role in this? Because we're all feeding something. We're feeding the unseen beast. We're feeding an unseen beast that's hungry all the time and can give two shits about your feelings. So right now, it's like either you can choose to feed the unseen beast, or you can choose to feed your spirit. Rituals of spirit. Now, whether you're watching this video with a cultic lens, or you're watching this video with Christian lens, or you're watching this video from a atheist lens, or Islamic or Muslim lens, or pagan lens. I mean, as far as religions and spiritual practices, it's a buffet at this point. It's a buffet. Fit, get what you're hungry for, right? But yeah, that's about it. And gratitude, being grateful. You know what? And some of y'all are not gonna like this. Oh, I just zoomed up on my really fat forehead. Hold on. Let me put this. Get in there, notebook. I am sweating so much. Side note, you go TMI, but I purposely don't use antiperspirants because of the chemicals that block the glands in your armpit. Hence why I don't, I'm not rocking the hippie thing anymore, because that could be too much. And it really depends on your diet too. If it's plant-based, but even with plant-based diet, if you're gonna be all hipped out, and I'm speaking specifically to women that are like, F the razor, I'm going all out, going full bush. Listen, and you're vegan and stuff, that's great. But if you're using a lot of curry, eating a lot of onions, garlic, even celery, that can really affect your smell and your odor. So just a side note. Cheeses, I know for sure. My diet has shifted a lot too. But anyway, getting off topic. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my walk. Gratitude. I'm grateful. On a global scale, I'm grateful what's happening with the whole Trump reign. Hear me out before your head explodes. I'm grateful because sometimes we need the unfathomable to take place to wake up. Truly. Think about the World War I, World War II. And we haven't had another world war since, which we might be on the trajectory for one, but hear me out. Things that happen on such a global scale that bring so much destruction, so much instability, it screws the human condition up to a point where it's like, oh my God, I never want to experience that again. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, history repeats itself. And I understand, he's very triggering. He's triggering to me too. It's like, I don't have the energy to try to spiritually analyze what's going on a metaphysic level with his leadership. No, not even leadership, dictatorship. But I'm grateful for how it's waking people up. I'm grateful that it's creating more clarity for people to make the right decisions for themselves. Right? Him being and leading the, not leading, because he's not leading anything. I'll just say his presence. His presence right now is forcing humanity, specifically the modern day American, to question what is right for them, what is right for their families and their communities. That's a really big deal. Because if you find yourself questioning your job, your career choices, the food that you're eating, what's in the food, your religion that you're following, the political ideologies you believe in, the status of your community, looking at your finances and why it just seems like you can't get ahead, that's important. Because guess what happens when you have not just not just a community, when you have not just a town or a city or a capital or a state or a region or a nation or nations, when you have people questioning what is right for them, what is right for them? Hi. What happens? I'm just going to leave it there. What happens when a society begins to question the foundation that it's believed in for so long? You know history. You read the books. And I have to be mindful, because there are certain key words that I believe in his reign he's going to start going after influencers, which I don't like the word influence. I'm not trying to influence you. Like I said, I'm a guide, okay? One thing about guides don't, I'll say this and finish up with gratitude, and I'll let you guys go. Think about this gratitude, or with guides. Think when you go to a museum in a foreign country. Like, think about France. I went to Paris, right? Paris, you have the host. You have a tour guide. And the tour guide knows the building inside and out, knows the secret passageways. They know all the information about every single room, every single painting. They know all the things, right? You go to the tour guide when you're lost, okay? Or you go to a tour guide for more information on something. Now, does a tour guide come to you and try to shove down information down your throat? If they're guided to do so, okay? Meaning, yeah, you go in, they give you a headset, or not even a headset, but you have a tour guide and they share, like, oh, look at this painting. Now this painting is from blah, 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 blah. And then they do that to each painting in the room, in the little chamber. And then they break off and they allow you to look at the paintings, to observe, to study, or to not look at them at all. Ooh, I don't like that painting. That's gross. I'll wait for the next room. And there's a little chair and you sit in it. Okay? And the tour guide says, hey, we're moving on to the next room. Now, do they say, hey, you need to follow along. You're behind, but I don't want to go to the next room. No, you need to come with us. No, a tour guide doesn't do that. You can leave at your own free will. You can follow. you can even try to go ahead, which is usually frowned upon. But you can even go ahead if you wanted. You can break off from the group. That's my intention with this channel. It isn't to enforce any belief systems. You vibe with your tribe. All right? And you find your vibe, you find your tribe. So at this point, I'm just using this as the access that I have as a way to hone in on my creative skills, get really good at production and editing, engineering my products, not just products, but my projects, and share all in the space of love. So that's it. Back to gratitude. I'm grateful for the times. That's what I'll label in the timestamp. I'm grateful for the times because he's now clarifying. It's like, it's like a multiple choice. At this point, he's posing a question to the masses. He's posing a question to the whole world. And we have choices. A, choice B, choice C, choice D. I would say we have two choices, but, that's power. That's true power. Ah! Oh my God, that spider is freaking out. It's okay, Spidey. And what do I mean by that? What do I mean by true power? The power to choose. Use the time now to choose wisely, my friends. My dear human collective. Do not waste these times. Don't waste. Don't just sit here and keep consuming the narratives that are deliberately set in place for you. Don't get lost in the sauce. Focus more on how things make you feel and not don't misplace your feelings in the stories. Oof. Hey, I'm human. No, it's fresh sweat. It's not like old sweat. Oh, God. I've been waiting for this heat for so long and now I got it. All right. Well, again, time stamped. Please share your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, energy in motion. If you guys have any ideas on better equipment, please share. Please share that. Share some links. Am I a fan of Amazon? Not quite, because they treat their employees like crap. But oh my God. Oh, corporate America. Anyway, but no, I'm serious. On a serious note, because I'll be traveling in the future. So, I'm not telling you when. You'll just know when I tell you. I'll be traveling and I'm slow upgrades, that's for sure, with the digital devices I already have. So, hence a new phone. I'm definitely have to get a new phone. You can barely keep a charge. I'm surprised it's still charged now, but it used to be up to 4 hours, I think, or 4 or 5. But I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for you all. And those of you who take the time to watch my material, and I'd rather you, with the energy readings, yeah, you're going to have to kind of sit and watch that. But they're not going to be unapologetically long. They're not going to be an hour long. I'm not doing that to you. God. If anything, they might be 15, 20 minutes maybe. Very, very simple energy. I will always keep simple energy readings because the more complex the energy readings are, the less pure the message is. And the ego gets tied to it. And then you can start creating a whole storyline. And that's not good. So I want to just make sure that I am being, straightforward. Because I don't just, this is an entertainment. I'm not doing my energy readings for entertainment purposes only. F that. Yes, I have to be mindful of what I say, because they're sending out bots in the system. People are literally, excuse me, deleting their work online, their content, out of fear. Fear. False evidence appearing real. But again, if you have a lot of material stuff, and you're very tied to the material world, and you got a lot to lose. So yeah, you got to do what you got to do, I guess. Just do. Presence is key in these times and the times to come. Presence is key in these times and the times to come. And be sure that you're activating that channel, opening that channel of gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful practice that got off. I stopped doing it. It really opens, there's so many channels of magic that you can explore within yourself, and gratitude is by far one of them. Forgiveness is one of them. Creativity is one of them. I'll have to make a separate video on that as well. But thank you, wholeness to all of you. Love to you. Oh my. No, it's okay. Thank you. Yeah, there's a couple of four-wheelers on a walking path. That's fine. I'm fine. I'm okay. They gave me a big head nod as an apology, so I'll take it. They acknowledged my presence. If they didn't acknowledge my presence, then I would just send good vibes their way. But they did. That's cool. Having fun in the sun. It's hot. I'm sweaty. I'm hungry. So I'm going to go. But thank you so much. I feel so happy and grateful to all 900 and something of you. And listen, numbers, plumbers, the digital widgetal, okay, it's just a game. So, but I truly admire those that are actually, your engagement is powerful. And I really admire that. I could have 2 people, or I can have 2,000, I can have 200,000, I can have 2 million. All of that would probably be life-changing. But my sole purpose is to guide. That is all. That's it. And whatever comes out of this creative channel, this channel of creativity in service for the human collective, so be it. Thank you so much. Goodbye.